Welcome back to the forest at Salos Wildlife Park. Today we're building an epic habitat for a very special animal, the Wolverine. Let's get into it. Hi, hello, and hey to all of you watching. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, being here. If you're new here, I'm Bree. I just build whatever I feel like building, and this is my first habitat build in a few weeks as I was traveling, but I hope it was worth the wait. This was actually supposed to be a home for a family of North American porcupines. I can't remember who did the mod on Nexus, but I was very excited to use it, and for whatever reason my game has just started to reject mods. They're just very buggy, and if I click the wrong thing in a menu, the game crashes. So instead of spending a third day bashing my head into my PC, I decided to just do a in-game animal, and I settled on the Wolverine, which proved to be slightly difficult because they do have massive size requirements, and I tried my best to honor that with the skeleton that I laid down for porcupines. So yeah, this was supposed to be a very simple habitat, kind of in and out operation, very simple foliage, enrichment, that kind of thing. I wanted the porcupines to just be popping in and out of the shelter, everything like that. And obviously Wolverines are very different animals. So that meant that I was constantly expanding on this kind of base structure that I had built, experimenting with, building new walkways and little corners for a Wolverine to get into. And I am happy with the result. The Wolverine is semi-satisfied with the space he has, and the traversable area is completely operational. Good for him, good for the staff, so no real problems so far. But it is just the one Wolverine in here. His name is Mika, with 2 eyes. That was one of the randomly generated names, which I don't usually keep, but I thought it suited him very well. So with all of that out of the way, the build. So I wanted it to be very simple and very modern, and like I said, things didn't really always go to plan, but I had fun building this. It was mostly on the grid as well, which made it a lot easier. And I wanted to get my hands on these plaster pieces a bit more. I use them quite often throughout the park, but they are probably going to be my number 1 most used set in the next project. So I felt like I'm just excited to start that project. But I'm determined to finish this zoo, so to cope, I am practice building for the next project, if you will. But why am I talking about that? This is such a lovely park, and I am determined to finish it. It's because this was the build that really dropped my frames, finally. I think having a forested area that is highly detailed like this, where I just plop down every bit of foliage that I want this late in the project, was probably not very smart. So the 5 to 6 habitats I had planned is more realistically coming down to 2 or 3, and possibly even 1, because the next habitat, I really want it in the park, and if it breaks the game, that's the price I'm willing to pay to have it in the park. And the species that I want to build for is also a modded species, so I will probably end up having a version of the park without the modded species and one with, etc. But for the moment, I am banking it all on the next habitat, which is not the greatest feeling in the world because I wanted this project to go on for quite a bit more, but these are the consequences of doing lots of objects and pushing my PC to the very far limits that it does have. And there is, of course, a lot of detailing I still want to do before the project is declared officially finished. Fixing a bunch of the foliage around the park and the kind of ambient spaces, improving my earlier builds, creating proper sign work, that kind of stuff, making sure the pathing actually does make sense, and improving the areas where it doesn't. But I will, of course, keep you guys updated on the series, how it stands, how the project stands, if you'll be able to explore the park yourself. But yeah, so back to this build, specifically, why a waterfall in such a small enclosure, I don't know. I didn't know what to do with this back wall. I wanted it to be as interesting as possible, and I was like, I haven't actually done a water feature in a while, so I am going to treat myself. And this is what happened when I said, yeah, let's just go for it. I did actually put the porcupines in the habitat around this point in the build. They might pop up. I'm not sure if I cut them out or not. And the first thing that one of them did was run to the water, and they just kind of floated there underneath the waterfall, which I think the rig is based on the American beaver. I don't know. I am not a modder or anything like that, but it was really funny just watching him get into this barren habitat and run over to the water and then just kind of belly flop. It was really cute, and I'm kind of sad I didn't build for them. I couldn't get it working. Oh yes, you can see it in the footage here, just beneath the waterfalls. The little black dot is a porcupine very much enjoying the water pressure. But I am quite pleased with the Wolverine. He's very active and very in charge, and he makes some really interesting noises. He definitely has a big personality, and the guests like seeing him as well. I also wanted to keep this part of the park, specifically this part of the forest, kind of carnivore, predator heavy, which is why we had the cougars where they were. I read something once that, and I know this is common knowledge, but you can't really keep predators upwind of prey animals because they will smell them, even if they're, however long they can smell for. Whatever that distance is, it can frighten them, even if they know they're completely safe in captivity. If they smell a lion, they smell a lion. They don't know that the lion is caged and also completely separate in its own little space. So yeah, I kind of kept that in mind and just subconsciously, I think, put all of them kind of together because the cougars are right next to the American alligators as well. And I know the Wolverine isn't really what comes to mind when you think of like a North American predator, but I did reserve a small place for, not small at all, it's not small, I did reserve a large place for some grizzly bears, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to them. They will be the next habitat, so after the next episode, if I do manage to save my frames. And it is already quite a few minutes into this video, so I need to do my YouTuber housekeeping. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. As I said, I did hit 220 subscribers a few days ago, which is huge for a channel like me, so thank you so much. And genuinely, if you feel like pressing that button, it does mean the world to me. All of your comments really do just make my day. And again, if I reply a bit late to them or something, I just live in Southeast Asia, so my time zone is probably a little bit funky for you. I've recently joined a couple more Discord servers, and I've met some lovely people already, but if you see me in the server and you want to chat about something, please just message me. I'm always happy to nerd out over Planet Zoo, other Frontier games, or animals in general. I've also offered my services because I have Canva Premium, and I'm happy to design a logo or something for your project if you would like that. Okay, housekeeping done. This I actually kept in the barrier footage for once because I added in one-way glass, and I basically embedded it into the glass walls that I had already built, so it was pretty much completely seamless, but I just wanted you guys to know that the animal has complete privacy. And I expanded the water area a little bit, so it needed a bit of a bridge, somewhere to kind of walk across it, and I just pulled the bridge from my peccary habitat, made it a bit smaller, adjusted it for the space, and yeah, it works perfectly. It looks really good. Still very happy with this very simple bridge dock build thing. And here is where I realized that this space is just not fit for Wolverine, and I start trying to increase the traversable area, by adding ledges and walkways and stuff. And my first thought was to have kind of like an overhang, a rocky overhang, possibly over the entrance to a cave where he could go and sun himself. And from there, I just got a bit carried away. This kind of rope log bridge was originally from a blueprint. It used different log pieces, but I made it to match the bridge that was already in there, and just used the existing rope placements and everything to get it all lined up, and it does really work. It looks like something, I don't know, like out of an Indiana Jones movie or something very slightly dangerous and exciting and cool. Definitely something Wolverine would be happy to spend his time on, I guess. And even after expanding the habitat a couple times along the grid, it still wasn't quite enough, and I knew with me putting in the foliage and everything, it was just going to get smaller and smaller. So I built this kind of outcrop, and I just wanted it to feel like an overgrown cave where the guests could pop their heads in and possibly see the Wolverine sleeping. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, I do quite struggle with kind of just viewing areas in general, the kind of building a habitat and, okay, this is the area where the guests will be able to see this angle, and then I'll have another angle on the other side. I don't know why, I just don't really approach things like that, which is why the majority of my habitats are just kind of like open gallery things. So this was a really good opportunity for me to try and make a more interesting viewing opportunity for the guests. And to really sell the overgrown cave vibe, I added lots of roots and mushrooms and a bit of green to make a really cozy just corner for the Wolverine. Even though he does have a burrow, it's just more space for him. To be honest, I'm not sure how realistic this root placement of mine is, but I just needed something, and I didn't feel like it made a lot of sense to include ivy here. Like, you know, that is just my instant response to a wall or something looking a bit boring. So I tried to do something slightly different. And finally, it's time for what everyone is here for, lots of foliage. So the Wolverine does require a bit of a cooler environment, and you'll see what I decided to do about that in a moment. But I did want to include some more tundra-esque plants in here for him because there are coolers hidden around the entire habitat, which doesn't really make a whole lot of logistical realistic sense, but you know, we use a fantasy element where we want to. And if you're new to this project, this park is based in the American West, in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, quite towards the south of the US, so it is very hot during the summers. In the game, it is pretty much permanently always 90 degrees, if not higher, in Fahrenheit. So basically, I was just excited to use some different foliage in here. And quickly, before we move on to the roofing, these logs, this climbing frame, is definitely not meant for a Wolverine. I put them in there when I was still deciding which animal I was going to have, and I just felt like they looked really nice, and he has actually used them. It's super janky, but he does enjoy them, so it's all worked out. I just think they're very critical to the habitat's kind of structure and visual framework. So this roof was a bit of a kind of like something I just thought of on the whim. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. I thought about just doing glass to maintain the kind of natural light that I had going, but between the glass viewing galleries and the glass roof, I felt like it would just become impossible to keep cool for the Wolverine in this, you know, desert-like sun. So I ended up doing this kind of mechanical roof cover with these bending panels that are controlled by a wheel and a control panel that is in the hard shelter. But basically this would allow the keepers to decide how much ventilation and cover the Wolverine would get depending on the weather and the season and the day itself. So I felt like this was a pretty realistic choice, and it does make the build look a bit more interesting, a bit more unique instead of just an open top or just the mesh or the glass. But this was my first attempt at a roof like this, and I'm always trying to improve my roofing, so any advice, please leave it in the comments about anything in the build really, but especially the roof because it's the part I am the most unsure about. And here is the control mechanism that I just pulled off of a kind of security door blueprint that I had. I used it before in at least one other habitat in the park, probably others, at least parts of it. I just am a bit too lazy to do this pipe work myself, even though the control is essentially just the habitat web camera thing, but it does the job, and I wanted it to make the most sense possible, so I included this kind of wheel that would actually be the turning mechanism. And again, this probably makes no sense on a mechanical level, but I feel like it does kind of sell the idea that I was going for. But yeah, as I said, let me know your thoughts. I originally did want chains because I feel like that would make the most sense for a metal roof, I don't know. But just none of them were the right size, and until we have scaling in the game or Planet Zoo 2 is out, I have to work with what we're given. And speaking of, I do have, I think, 4 or 5 hours of Jurassic World Evolution 3 under my belt now. I've kind of gotten used to the controls. I can kind of like switch my brain to that mode, which is fantastic, and I was enjoying it quite a lot yesterday. I finally got dinosaurs in my park. But yeah, it's just insane. The game is on another level. We have things like scaling and foliage brushes that I just can't stop playing around with because, I mean, having a tool like that in Planet Zoo would be just game-changing. It would make it feel completely new. Everything. It's already a game with virtually endless possibilities, but being able to control things like that on that level would be... I'm getting off track. All of that being said though, I am still just so happy to be able to create these spaces manually. One of the reasons that this park will probably go unpublished for a while is because I feel like my skill has just grown so much throughout it, and I don't feel like the first few builds are kind of up to my standards as they are now. So I really do enjoy just kind of the manual work of it and being able to take the step back and be like, okay, I have spent time on this to get it to where I want it to be, and these plants, these walls, these details are exactly how I personally wanted them to be. All of this to say, I'm really thankful to be able to spend the time on a project like this and to get it to this level that I at one point could only dream of. So I wanted to include a bit of an overhead drone shot for you guys just to see how far it's come. But we do still have a lot of work to do, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.